All right, go for it. We're talking about recruiting offices. So go for it, David.
Yeah. So I was talking about what's the highest and best use of my time. And I think to myself, okay, if I go sell a transaction, sure, I'm going to get more money today, but long term, you know what's going to happen. And I've been doing this for 25 years, so I know what it's like to make a lot of money right now. But that's not interesting to me anymore because I've done that for so many years and still ended up broke. So so when I think about this now, one recruit can be, 500. One recruit can be 1,000 people. One recruit can be, a mega huge office. I mean, it just makes sense to go do that. So I think it's just about mindset and getting people in the right frame of mind, and transferring that mindset into your prospect's mind, right? Because a lot of these people have the same thoughts, and they might just not know how to articulate it. So one of the things I like to talk to them about is, for example, if you're a broker owner, do you really own a business? And I show them how they really don't own a business, because if they step away for 6 months or just take their own production out of the brokerage, that's not a business. It would lose money every single month and fall apart, right? So I teach them how they're self-employed. They're not really, they own a job. They don't own a business. They think they own a business, but they really don't. So once they understand that, and how I own a business, right? Because I can walk away for 6 months. I can walk away for a year. I can walk away forever, really, if I want to. And my business will keep growing. So, at the end of the day, it's all about using your organization and having them talk to your people, right? Like, you don't want to go, even though your husband might be a great salesperson, you don't want your husband to try to go do this on his own, or you to go do this on your own. Like, use all of us to help you do that, right? It's always about third-party validation. I was having this conversation with Megan this morning. It's all about third-party validation. Like, what am I doing wrong? Well, what you're doing wrong is you're not putting them on the phone with us. You're not putting them on the Zoom with me or with Mike or with Jesse or with Brent or with Scott. Like, let us have a conversation with them, because when I put people on the call with Brent Gove or on a Zoom with Brent Gove, and Brent Gove does a screen share, people's minds are blown. Like, he can't show you his revenue share publicly, but he can do a little screen share. So like, if I go like this and go,
hold on, I'll pause the recording. Ready?
Oh, there's my monthly right there, right? It's like blah, 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 blah. But when I share my screen with you and show you, you're like, wait a minute. Like, whoa. And so that's the impact that we want to have on these people's lives, because they're not going to listen until they're jolted. And that jolts you. So when Brent Gove shows his, it's 400,000 a month. A month.
Shut up, really?
Yeah. $400,000 a month. And Rob Flick's $771,000 a month. And their goals are to make $100,000 a day. So what are your goals? Like, when you ask them questions like that, and they're thinking about these stupid little numbers, and you're going, hey guys, think bigger, 10x it, 10x that. Like, you know what I mean? Because like, for me, it was always wanting to make $1 million a year. Like, that was my whole goal forever. And I've sold 18,000 properties in my 25-year career, and I've never made $1 million a year, which is crazy. Now, of course, I live in lower price market than Jesse, right? But the point is that I was working my butt off forever and grinding. It's still the hamster wheel. I still owned a job. I never really owned a business.
Hey,
And
David,
now, yeah.
really quick. I'm going to turn my video on. Can you show my husband that again? I want to show him
Sure.
where we're at.
Yeah.
This is David Golden. He's got 27 recruits. I want you to, Jesse.
Hey, Dan.
Hey, Dan.
Good to meet you again.
So when you're talking specifics, and I don't want to take you off your path, David, but Kathy had mentioned there is a specific agent who is looking at buying a local boutique brokerage. I think the first step on that one would be to put it in context of, you said if you back out most broker owners' production, the brokerage isn't profitable. I agree. So if you look at this boutique brokerage, is it profitable in and of itself? What's the cost to purchase it? And what's the upside? Because when you look at EXP, the cost of purchasing EXP is $149, right?
Right.
And the upside of profitability, you become profitable month one, right? So this brokerage, like, they might have found a boutique brokerage locally that is profitable. There are some, although it's unlikely, and given what's going on, I think there's a lot higher risk. So I would ask questions around, the risk reward, right? What is the current cash flow of that brokerage? What's the risk versus the upside? And then tie it back to what that person's goals are. You made a comment, you said, you're looking for what's the hook for this person. You don't know what it is until you ask questions for them, right? What is important to them? Why are they thinking of buying this brokerage? What's their vision?
Yeah, I was kind of going there with her, and she didn't really have an answer for me. And then that's when I said to her, well, so is it because you want to make money? I said, so is it you want to make money, or do you want your money to make you money? And then she was like, oh, nobody ever asked me that before. So
yeah,
I think I got her there.
I think Kathy, I think my point with the whole thing is don't try to do it yourself. My point with the whole thing is have them say, look, the conversation is not trying to sell them EXP at all, right? The conversation is getting them on the phone or on a Zoom with Brent Conley, who's here right now, right? Brent Conley owned an independent brokerage with 400 plus agents, right? Get him on the phone with Mike Bjorkman. Mike Bjorkman owned a brokerage with 320 agents. Get on the phone with me. I own two brokerages, one with 256 agents, one with 272. So my point is, all you got to do is get them interested in having a conversation with one of us who've already done all these things, so we can have a conversation about why that doesn't make any sense. And we can lead them down that path, right? It's a lot different coming from us, who they don't know, than coming from you, who they may know very well, right? So
right, and that's the thing, because I've always been in the business of, been in the business of real estate, but my money was sort of the help out money. I was never the main breadwinner, and so I don't feel like I have that kind of clout that you guys would.
Right, exactly. So don't try to do it yourself. I'm saying, look, when you talk to your friend looking to own the brokerage, hey, listen, before you go and do something like that, would you take a phone call from one of my mentors that's making $500,000 a month in revenue share, or $500,000 a month in residuals, or $500,000 a year in residuals? Like, if you want to say $500,000 a year, it's me, right? If you want to say $500,000 a month, it's Brent. But my point is, when you talk those numbers to people like that, they get jolted, because it doesn't make any sense, right? It doesn't make any sense.
Right.
Like, it's crazy how 27 people can turn into 675 and make me 32,000 a month. And for me, 32,000 a month is ridiculous, because I'm looking at making $100,000 a month, right? So, and to you guys, 32,000 a month is like ridiculous, because you're making whatever. Right? So my point is that it's always, you want to always surround yourself with people that are thinking way bigger than you are. And then if they're making that kind of money, if you do what they do, you're going to get what they get. So business owners understand that. So if they're trying to do that, first of all, they're going to take on a bunch of risks. They're going to take on a bunch of liability. They're going to spend money that they don't need to spend. All these things that don't make sense in doing it that way. So again, it's just about having a simple script to get them on a Zoom call with one of your leadership team.
Okay. And I didn't even really know that I could do that. I kind of felt like I was bugging someone if I asked them to do that. So,
are you kidding me? No,
okay.
we love to do that stuff. That's like, you tell me, go help me recruit a brokerage. Hell yeah.
Okay, cool.
When
I will make myself available always.
Yeah.
So
we work for you.
Okay. Well, I appreciate that. Yeah. I've got a few that I'd like to go get. There's another one, Allison James, here in Northern California, that I'd really like to bring on. So, because they're trying to do it all without the tools, and that's stupid,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I'll touch on that for the brokerages. I've owned a 100% model called World Class Properties. We built that to like 60 agents. There was no money in it. Right. It was nothing but headaches and all that stuff. I wasn't the broker, all that. My partner was broker. And I've also done split shops. And while they are building their company, and they're highly vested into building their company, because all their blood, sweat, and tears have gone into building their business, you have to be cautious, because when the business is going really, really well, the ego is really high. Okay. And because there's a lot of pride involved. And so when the business start to deteriorate, or they're losing agents, the stress goes up, the cash flow goes down, and that's when they're most vulnerable in order to open their eyes to look at other opportunities when they're already second guessing themselves. Okay. But when they're in the climb and things are going pretty well, and let's just say, let's say they have 100 agents, which is a very successful brokerage. It's a great leader to build it to 100 agents. But it doesn't mean that the financiers are really, really good. It means that leader was a great leader, and they're also a great broker, and they're also a great trainer, and they're also doing all the work, and they have all the liability. So you have to really ask enough questions, just like Jesse said, to fully understand where they're at in their business and in their mindset in order to invite that conversation. And I really want to touch on the invite the conversation, because if you just go in there at, hey, this is the greatest thing ever, you got to see this business model, check this out, you're going to make way more money than you are now, just like David Golden did to me when he first started, right? I'm like, whoa, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm good. Like, I went through a business divorce. I kept part of my company. I'm trying to save my company. My pride's still there. It, stabilized. I lost a bunch of great agents, and I still stabilize and fight tooth and nail. I'm still under leases, right? And when I'm on the hook for the leases, and you're trying to make sure all the bills are paid, you're trying to make sure your people are taken care of. If they're employees, you want to make sure that the agents are taken care of, because they're the ones that stayed back, right? And I'm just giving you the progression, like, depending on where they're at. Then asking all those questions for a brokerage is really important. Hey, when's your lease up? Well, my lease isn't up for another year. Okay, great. What are you going to do after that? Are you going to sign another lease? And, what happens if your number two or number one or your number two supporter in the company leaves to EXP?
Yep.
Right? And, that's never going to happen. And we'll hear that a lot, right? And it does happen. It's happened multiple times, and it's going to continuously happen. But if you don't understand how to ask more questions so you can really understand where they're at, your opportunity will close before it even begins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll touch on one more thing too. So wouldn't it be smart as an entrepreneur to at least understand what EXP is offering, so you fully understand the model before you go and make a decision like this? Don't you think it'd be wise to fully understand this model that's disrupting the industry and growing faster than any other company on the planet, right, in real estate? So just get them to understand and be open to learning more about the model. Like, tell us why it won't work, right? Just at least understand it as a business person before you go and make a decision like this and invest all this time and effort and money and, commitment.
So here's what I'm hearing from a couple people whose brokerages I'd like to go after. And, I was able to switch over the realty world in Livermore. So I was kind of happy about that. But the number one objection I'm getting is that, my people will never pay 20% to EXP. Never. I have them on a 90-10 now, and they'll never pay 20%. Why would they do that? They're giving up so much money. Or we're 100% brokerage. They just have to pay $500 per transaction and a desk fee.
Cool.
That kind of thing.
So,
that's what I'm coming up against.
Okay. So I'm 100% plus. Brent Conley's 100% plus. Jesse Zagorski's 100% plus. Scott Marlowe's 100% plus. We all make more than 100%. So I just showed you my revenue share for this month. I paid $16,000 to EXP for the year. They paid me $32,000 this month.
Yep.
That's why.
Well, and I would also say that you're going after the whole brokerage. I want you to shift that thought in that statement and go after people that you want to align yourself with, the people, right? Because if the leader is tied up in leases, they've got to jump through a whole bunch of hoops. The pain has to get it bad enough for them to jump through the hoops, because only probably, I'd say 2 to 5% of the people can actually see past the negativity and the challenges that they have to go through in order to obtain what they really truly want. Okay. So that's a very, very small amount of people that can do that. Most of them move fear of loss. That's how they move. The fear, hey, I'm going to lose my house. I better go to work and go so I can pay the bills. I'm going to lose the girlfriend, so I better go take her on a date, or the wife or the husband or whatever, right? And so the fear of loss will move people. And most people have to, there's even, let's just say another percentage, 50% of the people have to hit rock bottom in order to make that move, okay? So it's not always best to go for the leader. It might be best to go for their number one in command when the leader is gone. Who is that? Is it the assistant that's holding the team together when the leader's not there? Is it the general manager that's there? Is it the transaction coordinator that everybody loves, that knows all the gossip and every single agent, and everybody's going to follow her rather than the leader? Like, I've taken some major hits from agents leaving that I kind of sensed it as the leader, but I also ignored it. I tried to do what I could do, but I also ignored it, knowing that I have to go find other agents. So there's other people that you can build your organization with that doesn't have to be the leader. The leader's the grand slam. Love that, right? But understanding what they have to go through in order to actually make this happen, it's tremendous. So you have to put yourself in their position and say, what do I really have to, walk through? Okay, I've got leases, I've got assistants and salaried people. Then is there a spouse? Is there a secondary silent partner that maybe is not out there? Like, is their finances good? Do they own an escrow company or a title company? What's the other, third party that's helped contribute and keep the brokerage open? Because most brokerages on a 90-10 split, they're not making enough money.
Nope.
So at the end of the day, it's really, you really have to understand all those things in order to move a brokerage over. Does that help?
Yeah, it helps a lot. It helps a lot. So one of the brokerages I was talking to, they had some people that went over to EXP and then came back. So that was a bit of a hit to me because I left that brokerage to go to EXP. Mm-hmm. So
that's okay. But that happens all the time.
Yeah, exactly. It does happen all the time. It does happen all the time.
Every brokerage.
Every
One of
brokerage.
the key things that I've learned about it is it's not just EXP, but it's this line at EXP that's special. And I think there might be maybe 2 or 3 great lines at EXP, and this is one of them. So if somebody got put in a wrong group, it's like it's apples and oranges.
But Kathy, right. I'll ask this question when somebody says that to me. I'll say, did they leave because of the business model or because the unfulfilled promises that came from their sponsor?
Oh,
unfulfilled promises.
There you go. I like that, Brent. That's good.
Okay.
No, I know that for a fact. I know it was unfulfilled promises because they were promised, the moon and the stars, and they got there, and then the person that brought them in just kind of shriveled up and died.
Right.
And we can't do that.
And so remember that as a response that will help change their mindset of the negativity into questioning, hey, why did they move? What happened to cause them to move, and what happened to cause them to move back? And typically it's something within their business, something within the promises somebody made and didn't fulfill their promises, or something that was probably their life circumstances. And that also carries over into their business life. And so if someone's going through a divorce, if someone's going through some financial hardships, and if they're stressed out at home, all of these things carry into our business life. And at one point, I was so stressed out going through a business divorce, I thought I was showing up every day at my office trying to lead my people and get them to do transactions and all that stuff. But I didn't realize I was no fun to be around at all.
Yep.
Right? And I was coming into my office as basically a 50% leader. And one of my agents, phenomenal agent, said, Brent, you can't come in here grumpy. You've got to be the leader. And I go, holy shit. That right there was an eye opener. It was a wake up call from one of my agents that actually cared. And I said, okay, I'm going to change my attitude from this point forward. I can't let everything else I'm dealing with affect my attitude at work, because it's rubbing off on everybody else. I was repelling people. Just go away. I didn't even know until it was brought to my attention. So you've got to understand, like, all the dynamics on a person that is going through their challenges on any recruit. Hey, what's your biggest, pain point in real estate right now? How many agents are you recruiting for your brokerage per year? And what would it be like if you had, another 2 or 3 per month? How can I help you get there? Right? And helping them get there, and not even asking about the EXP thing, right? How can I help you do more transactions? How can I help you recruit more agents to your current brokerage? Because
Actually,
then,
how can I help you with retention? That's what I'm hearing right now.
there you go.
Yeah,
There you
it's
go.
all about retention.
It's retention, but it's contribution. It's contributing, and
Okay.
what you're doing is you're being the leader for them, and they don't even know it. You're helping them, solidify their business, their current business, without asking to join your business. It's a leadership quality very few do, but the people that are aware of it, they're going to go, wow, that person's phenomenal. If I ever do something, I'm going with that leader. So John Cheplack, one of my former coaches, and a couple of people on here have followed him, that he said, hey, if you're recruiting, go train and support better than their current broker. And because then you're going to be the only option when they're ready to move on. And that's including with brokerages. So it's a long-term game. Support, 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 and they'll invite the conversation to you. Just like the agents will, just like the team leaders will, all of them will do that.
Okay, so I don't know if you heard Jesse, but Christine's going to be hosting an EXP Explained. We're going to have a Zoom call, I think, next Thursday. So I'm going to go out and buy some gift cards to a little local coffee shop downtown, create some invitations with the gift card in it, and invite people to come to the Zoom call. This agent that is buying this brokerage, I'm going to be inviting her. I will mail one up to her sister in Napa, along with some other people. I'll email her. I mean, I'll mail her a Starbucks card, because of course she's not going to come to Brentwood. But just kind of have a little party with the EXP Explained. So that's something Christine's doing. And once I watch her do that, I think I'm going to try and do that myself, like every 2 or 3 weeks. Do you think that's a good plan, or is that too in your face, too recruity? Does that make sense?
Great plan.
I think it's fine.
Great.
Every week.
Okay. Every week.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yep.
Every week, same time, same Zoom, just like this
Okay.
call.
Okay. Okay. I'll do that.
Yeah.
And okay.
So just so everybody's aware, because I don't know if they are, that Rob Flick he lives in Puerto Rico now, but he was in Arizona for the longest time. And he was making, I think he's been in the model for 3 or 4 years now, maybe a little longer.
4 years.
David probably knows. But
Yeah.
he was doing lunch and, say what now, David?
4 years. Yeah.
4 years. So he was doing lunch and learns for at least a year and a half that I knew about, every week, and he was making millions of dollars. He didn't have to show up for this.
2 of them.
He was opening them up for everybody at EXP to bring their people to Scottsdale. He would show up and do the event, and hey, he would answer questions, spend a couple hours, and he'd go on his way. Every week, the same thing. He'd tell the same joke. Scott probably went to 30 of them.
I went every week.
Every week. Whether Scott had a recruit there or not, right, Scott?
Right. It's great just for your mindset, and to the fact that Rob Flick was there was awesome. The number one guy in the company is there every week telling you how he did it. And finally, he's not brilliant. He's not that special. He just had a system and just did it. So I finally realized, gosh, I can do this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's the consistency is where I'm getting at. And then Brent Gove built it. Brent Gove, Rob Flick probably made $8 million last year is my guess. Brent Gove it was almost 4 million last year. And David probably knows the actual numbers, but it was right around there. And
Rob was making 771,000 a month
there you go.
at 40.
So, which is ridiculous money, but they're consistent. So Brent Gove, every Friday, he would time block 3 hours on Friday to set his appointments for next week. And he would watch the video, the model explained, with his people, his recruits, and said, hey, tear this thing apart. Tell me what I'm missing. This seems too good to be true. And that's what he did every single week. And so 2 people that are the high producers in this company for the revenue share were consistent, and they were monotonous over and over and over.
One of the challenges we ran into with Lunch and Learns is broker owners or big agents don't want to walk into a room and be seen looking at EXP.
Yeah.
And the same will probably happen on Zoom. They don't want their name in the bottom left corner that, oh, look, Bob Smith is here checking out EXP on this Zoom call. So if you're going after these brokerage and team owners and stuff, you might want to set up something one-on-one, like more of the Brent Gove method, where he's watching the model explained with them on a one-on-one situation.
Okay.
The owner of a brokerage of 30 or 40 people will probably not want to be seen on a Zoom call of the model or of EXP explained.
Right. Okay. Good to know. And there's no way to hide their name anywhere on Zoom.
You can make your name Joe Schmo and not be on video if you want to do that.
True.
Okay. Okay.
Hey Scott, how many non-EXP folks was Rob getting into the room each week?
We'd average like 20 to 30 people every week. And there's probably like, I'd say between 3 and 5 people that were checking out EXP.
Nice.
And some of them were not even in real estate once. One of them was a doctor, you know, people coming from all different industries that were like, I'm going to look at getting my real estate license because I see this opportunity in EXP.
Yeah.
Well, that's like my husband. My husband's not in real estate at all, but he's got a huge network, and he's the one that said, hey, we're doing this wrong. We just need to be recruiting.
Yeah. I have 4 people right now that are coming from another industry and getting their real estate license to come to EXP. And they were in sales. One guy worked for Boeing, and I showed them the model explained, and they're like, yeah, we're doing this.
Yeah. This model will prove to be one of the greatest models ever in real estate. It already has, but it will continue to prove that.
The greatest model.
I mean, well, for the time period. So you know, when Remax first came out, it was the greatest model agents have ever seen, right? And it ran a long, long time. It's not that popular in many states now, but it is in Canada, right? So there's a time period for a lot of these companies. But for the next 10 years, this company is where it's at. Hopefully it's 20 years, but for 10 years,
This will be the greatest opportunity for realtors of all time, period. I mean, we are the last stand, like the last greatest model. They cannot make a model. I can't even conceive of a model that could be any better than this, honestly. Like you pay $16,000 into the company, they'll give you the $16,000 back in stock if you just sell 20 more homes. I mean, how can you work for a company for $5,000 a year and get $16,000 in stock in the company every year, and then make, you know, $30,000, $100,000, $200,000, $500,000 a month in revenue share? You know, it's just, it's insane.
So let me ask you, a lot of times when I talk to people about it, because I get a lot of agents contacting me because they see that I'm with EXP now, and they're like, hey, I've been thinking about this, and, you know, all of that. And then a couple of them, especially now that Redfin's furloughed so many people, I've had some Redfin agents contact me as well. The number one question I get is, what's the difference between this and Keller Williams? Keller Williams has a downline too. So,
well, let me tell you, since I was a team leader for Keller Williams for 2.5 years and was ranked the number 3 team leader in the country by them.
And I was an MCA for them. So,
okay, yeah. Awesome. So let's do the numbers, right? Like, it's just math.
Yep.
That's all it is. It's just math. Like, let me show you the math. Okay, Keller Williams, I recruited 122 agents in 1 year net to a brokerage. Wow. Okay, and my profit share was still $2,000 a month. I made $2,000 a month here my second month of rev share, my third month. Right, I was with Keller for 10 years, and now my profit share is still like pennies. It's pennies. It's a joke. So when
And
you think about that,
that's when everybody didn't believe in David too. He was fighting an uphill battle. I'll mention that.
yeah. Well, I
And
joined.
it's not, and I'm not saying that to dig at David. I'm saying that because he just didn't find his place in a business that he really had passion for. And then he found EXP.
Yeah. When I saw this revenue share model, I was like, whoa. Because I was really passionate about the profit share model for Keller Williams, which is what made me such a great recruiter, right? I was so enthusiastic and passionate that you couldn't say no, right? You're like, you got to be crazy to not join this thing. And so when I look at the EXP model versus that, it's a total joke. So again, you don't have to have the answers, right? What's the difference between the profit share model and the revenue share model, or Keller Williams and EXP? You know what? Why don't we put you on a phone call for 15 minutes with David, who used to actually be a team leader for Keller Williams and was the number 3 recruiter in the country for them and decided to come over here. Why don't we have him explain to you what the difference is, right? So again, use us. You don't have to answer the questions. Have them be on a call with us and then have them ask us the question and you listen to us answer them. That's how you get better.
So I'll mention for Scott Marlowe that's on the call here too. Scott told me to F off. Okay. So Scott was at 100% company and capped at 10,000 doing 40 transactions as a single agent without an assistant.
And it wasn't even that. I was paying $100 a month and $150 per transaction. And I was like, there's no freaking way I'm going to pay 20% to my broker.
Right. Hear that all the time.
It's the dumbest idea I've ever heard of in my life. And then he got me to come to an EXP event, and I went to the last hour, the last session of the last day of this EXP event. And I walked in the room, and finally I realized, oh man, I can actually make more than 100%. Because look at this revenue share and this stock. I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to make more than 100% here. And the light bulb finally went on, and I signed up like an hour later on Dave Golden's iPhone at dinner after the event. Because I was like, okay, I'm in. I finally get it. But it took me 18 months of saying, why would I ever do this? Why would I give up $100 a month and $150 of transactions? There's no way I'd give that up. But
So
once you finally see it, it's like, oh, that's why.
So this is my quick PSA in the middle of the call here, and Brent Conley will like this one. Those of you who've been with the company for a while, cycle back and reach out to people you talked to a while ago, right? If you're looking for people, you're like, dude, I know I got to keep making contacts. I know I'm supposed to, but I don't know who to talk to anymore. Cycle back to people you haven't talked to in a while and just check in. We have a woman that we just checked in with that was interested in EXP and then wasn't interested in EXP. And it's probably been almost a year since she was not interested in EXP. Cycle back just to check in. Not like hey, let me talk to you about EXP, just checking in. How are you doing? What's going on? What's your world like? And she voluntarily said, I've been thinking actually about EXP. I think the time might actually be right now, a year later. So just, this is the time just to continue coming back and touching base with people and checking in, see how they're doing.
Was that my neighbor you stole from me, Jesse?
No. Not your neighbor.
I can't believe you did that.
Who? Your neighbor?
Krista Mayshore.
Oh.
Well, I kind of
Oh
did
no,
that.
he stole her from me.
So,
That was Brent Conley, actually.
Oh my gosh, Brent. I was just going to call her too, and then Jesse calls me and goes, you're not going to believe this.
Brent stole her
Krista
from me
for a long time.
I've known Krista for 10 years. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
I had her first. I've known her for like 20 years.
so the
I knew her when she was a teacher.
oh wow, that's a long time.
Yeah. So I'm thrilled that she's over because she's amazing. She's just amazing. So I'm glad she's here. I just wish it was under me.
So I think that one of the points here is that, it takes time for people to come over. Jesse, how long did it take you to come over with me bugging
9
you?
months.
9 months. 9 months. And I was on Jesse's butt. Like dude, look. And it was too aggressive, right?
Right.
And he wasn't ready. He was his own brokerage and had his own leases and, had his thing going on, and he had his own vision, and I'm trying to change it for him. So, but Brent Conley, how long did it take you?
A while. Yeah.
Gene
Yeah, it was a
talks
while.
about this all the time. He says some people, their gate is closed, and you're not going to sell them into opening up their gate.
Right.
You just got to come
My
back
gate,
when the
my
time
gate was open. So it took me about 3 weeks. Like my gate was, and it would have been faster. It would have been faster had I, if I could even make it faster. So it took me.
Well,
3
I think
too, you have to look at people's life situations as well. Because I talked to you and then found out I was pregnant, and it was like, there's no way I'm switching. And you have to just catch people. It's like timing is huge in it. So you just need to be aware and just like keep following up with people and just watch what's going on around them as well.
Yep.
Golden, if you remember, I approached you about coming into EXP in December 2018, and I got talked into going with a new 100% boutique, 100% commission brokerage, and the only people that are making money in that brokerage is the guy that started it and his small board of directors. Everybody else is getting screwed. If I would have done this a year ago, I would be. I don't even know where I would be now.
Yeah.
But
and everybody says that, Matt. Like everybody says, if I would have done this when I first, I wish I would have done this sooner. Like Jesse has a crazy story about it.
But I'm here now.
I know, but like, listen, we're here now, and let's take advantage of the opportunity we have, and understand that those people may join in 3 weeks, or they may join in 18 months. I've been talking to guys for 2 years, and like Ogie, I've been talking to him for over 2 years, and he's finally coming over, I think, right? Yes.
Yep.
Like 26 months of talking to this guy, and he's my friend. So just understand that it's not, it's the long game, right? Just be in relationship, stay in relationship, add value, and continue moving them down the path, or having conversations with different people that you think would be valuable, right? You got a great leadership team here, very experienced. We all have our strengths and our gifts, and the more you get to know all of us, the more you'll know what those things are. And then you can link us up to the people that it makes sense to link us up with.
You guys are what I've wanted to be a part of for 40 years. So this is pretty amazing.
Yeah.
And it just took me.
Hang on, I gotta go.
Yeah.
For me, it's just, it was the right name. I was asked for 3 years to come into EXP, and until Jesse said he made the jump and Bjorkman made the jump, then I was like, what? I'm so stupid to not follow those people. So,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Who's your sponsor, Kathy?
Christine,
actually. Yeah. But it was because I was with Jesse one day, people had been on me to even look at EXP, and I was like, no. And then Jesse was like, dude, I'm doing this. This is what I did. And Bjorkman's on board. And I'm like, wait a minute. He just bought HomeSmart. He's like, oh no, Bjorkman got rid of HomeSmart. He's EXP now. And, I was like, okay, your Ritalin hasn't kicked in. I'm joining. Calm down.
But that really is how it went, right? Go ahead, David.
Exactly how it went.
So when you look at my revenue share numbers and go, how the hell did 27 people turn into 675? I have one answer for you. Mike Bjorkman.
Really?
One of those 27 was Mike Bjorkman, and about 450 or 500 of those are Mike's.
Wow. Yeah. I couldn't be happier. I absolutely couldn't be happier.
I've known you guys for a long time, which is the reason why I'm here. So.
Yeah, it's a relationship.
Yeah, exactly.
So right now, one of the things I'm doing, and you guys might want to do this too, one of the things I'm doing right now during coronavirus and being all sheltered in place and whatnot, is I've always called and texted and emailed or whatever. One of the things I'm doing now is I'm doing handwritten notes to all of my people that I'm recruiting. Like every single agent I have on my list, I'm sending them out 100. I've sent out 110 handwritten notes. And when I say handwritten, it's not really handwritten, but it's handwritten. So that's what I'm doing right now to keep in touch with my people. I'm just saying, hey, just checking in on you. Hope you're doing well. Just not talking about EXP at all. Just, hey, how are you? Hope you're doing well. I'm looking forward to seeing you when this whole thing is over. Whatever. I hope let's grab lunch when this is all over. Love to see you.
So how many times do you not talk about EXP before you start hitting them up about EXP, or do you let them open that door?
Well, it depends. So in the beginning, when nobody knew what EXP was, it was a lot different than it is now. So when I first started, nobody knew what EXP even was. So I was trying to get them to understand what EXP was. Right now, a lot of people think they know what EXP is, even though they don't. They think they know what EXP is. So, if they think, if they tell me they've already heard it, because have you heard it? You had to have heard of EXP by now, right? No. Okay, great. Let me tell you about it. Or you had to have heard of EXP by now, right? Yes. Okay, cool. What do you know about it? They don't know shit. Well, they've got some sort of profit thing and the stock options. I'm like, no. Right. So if they think they know about it, I just tell them to tell me about it. And then right away, I know they don't know anything.
Okay.
I said,
So I'll add to that is a lot of times I won't even talk about EXP. I don't promote it that often because I think the majority of real estate agents want to increase their production, and because a lot of them are thinking about now money, and especially with the coronavirus right now. Only business oriented driver personalities that are well suited for the company as a recruiter or something like that, then I'll bring that up as a first option. But other than that, most of it is trying to train and support the agents to get them to make more money in their real estate businesses or grow their teams. So leading with that, I think, is really, really smart. And then they'll invite the conversation to you. But I would lead with, I'd be cautious of what you do right now, but I would probably lead with training and support and just asking questions. And then they're going to tell you, how to really invite them over to the company.
I think what I'm hearing right now from most everybody I've been speaking to, and I spoke to a woman last night, Vanessa Gutierrez, and she was like, I just need to cut my expenses. And I said, really? I said, now's the time when you should be ramping up your advertising. However, if you really want to cut your expenses, over at EXP, we've got KV Core, and you could use that for nothing. So, explain to her KV Core and all of that. And she's like, you mean I get that for free? So that was kind of a big plus for her. And I'm thinking that might be a way in right now.
So everybody joins for different reasons, right? There's one thing I've learned in this thing. It's that everybody joins for a different reason, right? We got Kyle Robinson, the #1 agent in Iowa, who joined just because of the cap. He didn't care about profit share, revenue share. I'm sorry. He didn't care about stock. He just was like, I paid my broker $100,000 last year. I could pay $16,000 and be done. Yeah, I'm in. And then later he got excited about stock and revenue share once he understood it, but he didn't care about any of that stuff, right? I didn't care about stock. I didn't care about splits. I didn't care about cap. I didn't care about anything. All I cared about was revenue share. Mm-hmm. That's all I cared about. My buddy Ian Pallas is a big stock guy. All he cared about was the stock. He's like, I'm going to get to own my brokerage without having the liability overhead. Yes. Awesome. I love this. And they're going to give me back all the stock when I do, about 30 deals a year. Yes. Awesome. All he wanted to do was hit Icon Agent and do the stock thing. He didn't care about recruiting. So everybody's going to come for different reasons, right? Right now, everybody's stuck at home. We're totally prepared for this. Nothing in our operations has actually changed at all.
Correct.
Everybody else is like, how do we get computers home? How do we set up VPNs? How do we pay our people? Who's going to pick up checks where? And we're like, we're ready.
Next.
Nothing changed. So I think people are starting to understand that too and realize wait. And when this is all over, by the way, people are going to start reevaluating office space because they're going to be like, wait a minute, we just stayed home for 2 months and everything went actually pretty good. Wow. Yeah. We really don't need to spend $10,000 a month on that office space. Why don't we do things more virtual? Duh. And they'll start to gravitate towards our model because we're already there.
The other thing is, if you thought it was hard to get people to show up for a broker sales meeting in the office before, how hard is it going to be in 6 months when everyone's still scared that they're going to get sick by showing up?
Yeah.
Right. Very true.
Another thing too, if I can pipe in real quick to go off of what you just said, David, and just kind of something that we've had success to is don't fire hose them right away, because it's such a groundbreaking thing that they just won't even understand, because all they understand is the traditional real estate model. So you have to what we've been kind of doing is hey, there's these other 2 revenue streams, that are outside of it. All they know is linear sales. That's all they know.
Right.
For the most part, that's what Joey and I have been seeing. So it's you have to lead with that. How is it, Brent just said it, how is it going to help them right away with now money? And then you you kind of can like, oh, some people just jump right in, like, tell me about rev share. Okay, great. This is what it is, right? But some people, most people, I think, are just focused on linear sales because that's all they know. And then another point too, David, how you said you found your Bjorkman. I found my Bjorkman too, and Joey
Yeah,
Clark.
I know.
So.
I'm staring at him right now. Look at that handsome man. Hey, Joey.
What's up, guys?
We got to go because we have a recruiting call at 2. Let's go, Joey.
That you do. Keep it up, boys. You guys are killing it.
Yeah,
Bye.
man.
Love you, man.
Thanks for the insight, everybody.
Of course.
Yep.
Hi, Blake, my Joey. I love Blake's picture, by the way. All right, we got a few minutes to the top of the hour. Brent, David, anyone, first of all, does anyone have somebody got other questions or things that they wanted to make sure we chatted about today? Otherwise, Brent, David, we'll see if we any brilliant thoughts to wrap this up with.
No, I don't have anything else. Just, I mean, I think it's really just track who you're talking to, invite the conversations, and just be cautious on how you're really presenting this information. I would just ask a lot more questions.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would just say use your team. You know,
Yes.
use us. Like literally, we're your leverage here. That's
Okay.
what makes the model so great is the collaboration between all of us. And you know, because we're all business partners here. So at the end of the day, we're all going after the same thing. And so my whole passion has just been, let me help you guys retire. Right? Let's put a plan together where you can retire from this business in the next 5 years. Right? It won't even take that long. I did it I was able to stop selling homes in 10 months, just recruiting. So
I would love that.
well, look, I got from $0 to $11,000 a month in 10 months with the XP.
Wow.
So in 11 months, 10 to 11 months, I was able to stop selling homes forever. So
I would
in
love
November
that.
2018, I sold my last house, and I'm never going to sell another house. And that's my commitment to myself, because I don't ever want to do that again. I've sold so many, I'm just over it. And I want
Do
to
you
help.
know that? Yeah, I'm sorry. In all these years I've been selling houses, I've been mugged where I've lost 3 teeth and had my nose broken. I had a guy try to slash my throat 2 years ago in January.
Holy cow.
Just this last week, I walked in I found squatters in one of my vacant listings. That's just like a little bit of everything I've been through. Honestly, real estate doesn't excite me anymore because I am kind of sick of having to be on guard all the time. You know, I showed a house once to a pro football player who cornered me in a kitchen. It's like, I don't want to do that anymore. I really don't want to do that anymore. So I'm not excited about that. So if I can make money by doing this instead and let everybody else get their throat slashed, I mean, not really, but you know what I mean?
I think
You know?
I love selling houses.
I think, yeah,
You're lying.
I think, Kathy, I think everybody's lying when they say that.
Yeah.
I think they just don't understand what it's like to be able to go to a place where you could be making, you know, $100,000 a month and not having to sell a house anymore. So I think that at the end of the day, we all secretly want to stop selling houses. Whenever we've had high level masterminds with any top producers from anywhere in the country at any high level mastermind, the conversation is always the same. How do I get out of production? How do I get out of production? How do I get out of production? That is literally what all top agents are thinking about. That's why they open brokerages, to get out of production, but then they have to stay in production because they don't actually have a business. So
Right.
I know how to get out of production. That is my specialty. If people want to get out of production, just ask them. You want to get out of production? Yeah, cool. I got the guy for you to talk to because he got out of production, right? For real. And it's still making over 30 grand a month.
Wow.
Yep.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay.
So that's my own thing. Like that's the vision that I paint. That's the picture that I want to see. That's if somebody has that dream, then I'm their man.
And just as a reminder for anyone who knows that if I would, could you, every time David talks, he's saying a version. He's not using the exact words, if I would, could you, but does anyone raise your hand? Do you not know what the if I would, could you is, right? If I could get you on the phone talking to one of my, people who, make $50,000 a month, would you be interested in chatting with them, right? If I could get you on the phone talking to one of my mentors who used to own a big brokerage and sold it because he found something that was better, just so you can get to know what else is out there, would you be interested in chatting with them? That's every time, if you listen back to the recording or when you hear David say these things, he's just doing his own version of an if I would, could you, And every time he says it, I'm like, yeah, I would totally do that. I would talk to you.
Yeah.
It's really compelling every time he says it.
Exactly. Cool.
All right, I love it.
Thank
Welcome,
you
Bill.
so much.
As a welcome, Bill. We got a couple minutes
Welcome, Bill.
left.
We got about 1 minute left.
Just in time.
You want to add anything? Do you have a question?
Well, I don't even know why I'm here, except for Brent said, get on this call. And I'm like, I got to talk to this guy. Oh, my God.
It's nice to meet you.
You too, Kathy.
Well, welcome, Bill Crane. I guess
Welcome, Bill Crane.
Next week we'll get Bill involved.
Are you official today or tomorrow or yesterday or when?
Oh my God, the mountain of stuff I have to go through that the Illinois person sent me. So like, I probably won't be able to sleep tonight. I'm gonna have to read all that.
So tomorrow, cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Cool, guys. Anybody else have any questions? Comments? Ahas?
Huge aha was getting out of production. I always thought that I wasn't worth listening to because I didn't have huge production, but that's not true now. That's not true.
No.
So thank you for that very much.
I'm really excited. People that want to do no production, I'm really excited about those guys. They're my favorite.
Brent, David, thank you guys. It was an awesome call. Enjoy your day, everybody. Enjoy your weekend. Reach out. Remember, keep in touch, guys. Keep connected. Bill, well, it's not the last few minutes, but we're glad you're here. We'll see you next week, man.
All right, man.
Excellent call. Thank you, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Right on.